Welcome to DeFi Crypto Today. Our topic today is getting paid in Bitcoin. Yeah, now you can get your salary paid to you in Bitcoin. Imagine that. And would that be a good idea? And I think it's a good idea. So let me explain why and how you can do it. So, first of all, unless you live under a rock like my mom. Yeah, she lives under a rock over there in the backyard. Poor mom. Anyway, you probably noticed that the price of Bitcoin has been going up and up and up and up and up and up for the last decade or so. So if you look at the chart here, it went from not much. This is this is 2013, yeah, May 2013 here. Anyway, the lowest price in 2013 was $67 per Bitcoin. And currently, it's sitting at 61,000. Okay. Of course, we had a little bit of a crash in mid-year, but if you look at the logarithmic graph, you see that that's nothing. Okay, that's just noise, and the trend is definitely upward. Okay, so the price of Bitcoin tends to go up all the time. Why is that? I talked about this in another video, but it's worth emphasizing the point. There's only 21 million Bitcoin that can be ever issued, ever. There's never going to be 22, 23, or a billion Bitcoins out there. There's only 21 million Bitcoin max. Okay? And some of them are gone anyway. Like people lost their password to their wallet, and they lost like a fortune, like half a billion dollar here and there. And there's also Satoshi Nakamoto, the legendary founder of Bitcoin, or creator of Bitcoin, whoever he or she or whatever group of people that was. And apparently he or she has 1 million Bitcoin in stored somewhere in some secret wallet. So those will never get on the market because I don't know what happened to Satoshi. Maybe he died, or who knows, right? But that 1 million Bitcoin will never get on the market. Think about that. Okay? So that means not only is there a maximum of 21 million, but there's only 20 million left. And who knows how many other millions of Bitcoins have been lost, okay? Because 10 years ago, roughly, 12 years ago when it was created, a lot of people said, it's worth nothing, and then they lost their wallets, okay? So, I don't know, maybe there's like 5 million tokens that disappeared. So, the supply is very, very, very limited, okay? And Bitcoin is one of the most trusted cryptocurrency available right now, okay? And the big financial institutions want to get their hands on this, and they're pleading with their governments and say, hey, let us invest in this stuff, okay? Look at the return, okay? We could have made 1,000,000% return on this already, okay? So, gradually, governments are opening up to the idea of letting big financial institutions buy into this, okay? Right now, you probably heard that sometime in the next few days, there might be some Bitcoin ETF in America that might be allowed to exist. What a revolution. I don't think it's going to be a good idea, though, because it's a Bitcoin futures ETF, not an actual Bitcoin ETF. So investors into this might not get the same kind of return they would get on like buying Bitcoin directly. But it's still, for people that don't understand how to create a wallet and onboard to crypto and get, they think that Coinbase and Binance is too complicated for them, but they understand how to use, to call their stockbroker over the phone and say, hey, buy me some ETF, some Bitcoin ETF, okay? If they feel secure doing that's still gonna help, okay? Raise the price of Bitcoin. So we're talking not just millions of dollars getting into Bitcoin, we're talking billions and eventually trillions of dollars going into Bitcoin. The price, okay, if you think that $61,000 is a lot for Bitcoin, that's just the beginning, okay? How do I know this? Well, I'm not an economist, but this guy is. Okay, this is PlanB. I strongly recommend you have a look at his Twitter. Okay, this guy works in big financial institutions. He keeps himself anonymous because he says, well, it's a very small world and everybody knows everybody. So if I don't want them to point at me like this, hey, that's a Bitcoin guy. So that's why he keeps his identity anonymous. Okay, but this guy published the Bitcoin stock to flow model, and actually he published a couple models to try to predict the price of Bitcoin. And guess what? His model is pretty close to accurate. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's pretty darn close. Now, if you look at the price of, these are predictions that he made in June, okay? So he predicted August, September, October, November, December of this year, back in June. So he said in June, at the last day, okay, of each month, he said for August, Bitcoin should be $47,000, and it was. And then he predicted $43,000 for end of September. So it went down a bit. And then he predicted 63,000. Everybody was saying, "Are you crazy?" And it's sitting at 61,000 right now. And the month is not over, so it's probably going to go up a couple thousand by the end of the month if we are to believe this model. Now check out the last 2 months of the year. 98,000 for November, and December is 135,000. Okay? Maybe it's not going to happen, but so far the guy has got a pretty good track record. Okay? And like right now we're in October, and the glorious SEC in America, and its great wisdom, says, yeah, maybe we should authorize some Bitcoin ETFs. Maybe we should do that. So eventually, when they wake up and smell the coffee and decide to allow people to open up ETFs for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other things, okay, what do you think the price of Bitcoin is going to do? It's going to go up like crazy, okay? Because a lot more people will feel confident in buying Bitcoin, okay? Financial institutions, okay, that are allowed to buy ETFs, okay, or sell ETFs to their customers, like stockbrokers and so on, they'll be allowed to sell Bitcoin through that medium to their customers. Because right now what's going on is that the customers are calling and say, hey, how come you can't sell me some Bitcoin? I've got $10 million in my account with you, and it's doing nothing on the stock market. So that's what's happening. Okay? All right. So enough about this. The other factor that's very important for people to understand is that fiat currency, any fiat currency, okay, loses value. What do I mean by that? Well, this is the purchasing power of the US dollar. okay, since 1910 up till last year, 2020. So basically, if you had a dollar, or if you had 100 here, okay, the purchasing power of that money, okay, lost about 98% of its power, purchasing power. This is what this means. Okay? So, $100 100 years ago, 110 years ago, was worth considerably more than today. It was worth at least 50 times more than today. That's what that means. Okay? So, that's because of inflation. And what's causing inflation? Inflation is this currency, okay, keeps getting printed more and 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 more. Okay? The Federal Reserve, and it's the same in other countries like Canada, Mexico, Japan, the Central Bank of Europe and whatnot, okay? They keep printing and printing and printing and printing because they don't have a choice. That's basically what they do. Okay, they need to keep the market liquid, otherwise the economy would stall. Okay, so they don't have a lot of choice. They have to print more and more and more and more. And what this means is that you keep losing the purchasing power of your fiat, whether it's the US dollar, the euro, the yen, the renminbi, Canadian dollar, Australian dollar, whatever. Okay, it loses value over time, and the more the central banks print, the faster you lose value. Okay, and it's worth pointing out that during the last 2 years, the Federal Reserve of the United States printed 50% of all the US dollars that were ever printed. So basically they doubled the money supply in the last 2 years. So you can just imagine what kind of inflation we're going to get. Okay? Because it's going to have repercussions everywhere around the world, particularly in the United States. Okay, so right now, Jerome Powell, the president and the chairman of the Federal Reserve, said, "Yeah, we're starting to see some inflation, but don't worry, it's temporary." Sure, I believe him. And that's why Bitcoin is going up. Because the more people are scared that inflation is coming, the more people invest in Bitcoin, because they know that Bitcoin is deflationary. Okay, so it's a hedge against inflation. The more the banks and the central banks print money, the more people will buy Bitcoin, and the more the price will go up. Okay. All right. So we know that the purchasing power of the US dollar is going down and down and down and down. So you need to get yourself some Bitcoin, okay, before this happens to your money. I mean, at some point toilet paper is probably going to be more expensive than more valuable than the US dollars, okay? That's what this means, okay? Anyway, it's not because I'm against the United States or anything like that. This happens to every country, okay? Happens to the euro, happens to the Canadian dollar, happens to the Chinese renminbi, the Japanese yen, and so on, simply because that's the way the central banking system is created. It's designed to do this. Okay, so it's not designed to be deflationary, it's designed to be inflationary. Okay, That's just a matter of fact. Okay? And unfortunately, if they keep printing like this, well, you could put a euro here, okay? You could put a renminbi here, okay? It's going to become worthless eventually, okay? All right, so what's the solution? The solution is to get Bitcoin. And now there's like something new that happened. You can get, if you live in the United States and El Salvador, this is the only two countries right now where it's allowed, you could get your paycheck paid to you partially or in full in Bitcoin. So let's have a quick look at this. I cannot set it up to show you exactly all the details and everything, simply because I don't live in the United States, I'm not American, so it's not available to me. But I think it's a very good idea. I wish I could take advantage of that. And I'll explain how it works a little bit. So, this is what we have here. Get paid in Bitcoin. This is made possible by Strike. Strike is the company that's a brainchild of Jack Mallers. Okay? Jack Mallers is this guy here. Okay? Who was made very famous a few weeks ago when he helped Twitter integrate Bitcoin. So basically now, if you have a Twitter account and you have the Strike app, you could send money to other people on Twitter. And what's nice about Strike is that they don't charge you a fee for this. So right now, with the traditional banking system, if you want to send money to, I don't know, your mother, your brother, your son, or whatever, your sister, whatever, and you want to use a traditional banking system, what you do is that, let's say it's a significant amount. Let's say you want to send, I don't know, $500. You go to your bank, you have to fill up a form, and you have to go through SWIFT, it's called. So it's a wire transfer, and it typically charges you $20 to $30 per transaction to do this because, well, you know, it's complicated. They take money from here and they have to put it there. It's a lot of work, right? So, and that's SWIFT. SWIFT takes days. Like, it's not that swift. Sometimes it takes 2-3 weeks to get your freaking money transferred. So a lot of people say, SWIFT's too slow, so I'm going to go to Western Union. At least with Western Union, you can get the money within a few minutes. Okay, but it still charges you an arm and a leg to transfer the money. So this guy here said, that's crazy. Okay, let's send money for free. We have the technology. And guess what? There's an app for that. So how does this work? Okay, basically, Strike uses the Lightning Network from Bitcoin. So Lightning sends transactions super fast, okay, by sending Bitcoin amounts of any sizes. Okay, you can send 50 cents, you can send $1, you can send whatever. Okay, and Strike doesn't charge for that. How do they make their money, you say? Well, you have to deposit money or Bitcoin on Strike, okay, and it's held in reserve in federally regulated financial institution in the United States. So it's all up and up, you know, it's all legal and everything, okay? So it's a regulated, federally regulated financial institution that holds the funds, Okay, and what I'm guessing is that, well, since they probably hold millions and millions of dollars, well, they probably deposit some of that to earn interest, and that's how they make their money. So, because they don't charge the end users for transferring. Okay, maybe you have other fees, but I'm not aware of that. All right, so where's the page? I lost my page. Okay, so this is Jack Mahler's here. This is one thing I have to say about Jack. Okay, fine. I don't mind his wardrobe, but come on, what's with the empty condo with nothing in it? Okay, I mean, there's not a thing in the room except a bed. That thing behind him, it looks like a bed, right? What is that? He doesn't have anything to put on those big shelves there. It's like, it just looks weird. Okay, maybe you should spend a little bit of money on interior decoration. I don't know. But no, every time I see him on interviews, he shows this big empty room there with shelves with nothing in them. I don't know. It looks, put a green screen. Do like me, like, you know. I don't know. Okay, so strike. Where's my strike? Let's go to strike. I thought I had strike. So you have strike. So you go to strike.me. Okay, and as you can see down here, you can download the app from the App Store, Google Play, or you can also install the Chrome extension, which looks a little bit like this. Here it's asking me for my US phone number, which I don't have, so I cannot open an account with this thing. Okay, it only works for the United States and El Salvador, because in El Salvador Bitcoin has legal tender now. Okay, so hopefully they're gonna add other countries here, because that could be fun. So where did I see this? Oh yeah, payment. How do I direct deposit funds using PayMe in Bitcoin? So they explain in detail how to do this. Okay, you can get your paycheck deposited partially or totally in Bitcoin or USD in using Strike. Okay, why would that be a good thing? Well, you know that that Bitcoin is going up over time, and you know that the USD is losing value over time. Okay, so it's a little bit like having a savings account. Okay, and you instead of depositing just cash in your savings account, you deposit Bitcoin in your savings account. You can convert Bitcoin to cash anytime you want. Okay, but the Bitcoin part is going to go up in value over time. Okay, there's going to be market fluctuations, so some days it's going to go down, some days it's going to go up, and so on and so forth. But you can probably bet your bottom Bitcoin that in 5 years, the value of Bitcoin is going to be considerably higher than today. All right? So that's why I think it's a good idea. Now you can read all the details on how to do it, and you can ask them questions and so on. But the facility now exists, okay, which is a big boost for the price of Bitcoin also. Just think, Twitter's got what, 700, almost a billion, 700 million or a billion users now, and now they could transact using Bitcoin. They could send Bitcoin tips to each other or payments to each other, okay, with no fees. If they use Strike, they can use other stuff too, but why pay fees? Okay, I'm just a farmer. I want to save on fees, okay? I don't want to pay gas fees. I don't want to pay banking fees. I don't want to pay no fees, okay? So strike is a way to do that, okay? Now you can send funds to your friends and family, or if you have a business, people could pay you, okay, using this. All right. So you can see that the use case for Bitcoin keeps growing and growing, and more people are going to be using Bitcoin either as a store of value or to send funds back and forth. Okay. So the price of that thing is going to skyrocket over the next several years, and we already know. We can already expect that it's going to go up considerably before the end of the year if we believe PlanB, who thinks that the price of Bitcoin is going to be around $135,000 by the end of the year. So I invite you to check this out if you're in the United States or El Salvador. But if you're not, well, too bad for you, eh? No, just buy Bitcoin, okay? Buy Bitcoin, and you should have some in your portfolio, okay? Some people go nuts and they put 100% of their portfolio in Bitcoin, which I think is too much. But I personally, I like to diversify, okay? Because there are things that are earning me income in the crypto world, okay? And that are growing faster than Bitcoin, okay? But Bitcoin is definitely a very good value. Okay, it's one of the best values, and I consider that it should be part of everybody's portfolio. But that's my personal opinion. You do what the heck you want. Okay, but definitely you should consider the facts and evaluate if you should put Bitcoin in your portfolio, which would be a good idea, I think. All right, that's it for this video. If you like this kind of stuff, please like and subscribe. YouTube's algorithm is begging for it. And don't forget to ring the bell, download my free book. And if you don't like free things, well, fine. Go to Amazon and give $5.99 to Jeff Bezos. He's not rich enough yet. And he's going to send me $1 later. Okay, see you next time.